Here's something a lot of CELPIP candidates don't realize until it's too late. You can have solid English skills and still score low in the writing test. Not because your English isn't good enough, but because you don't do what the CELPIP examiners want to see. High-scoring candidates use a completely different approach. They don't just start writing and hope for the best. They don't repeat the same basic words throughout their response, and they definitely don't use only simple grammar. Instead, they follow a clear strategy for both writing tasks, and that strategy is what gets them to CLB 9, 10, and 12. This is the approach candidates use inside our CELPIP packages. They discover how strategic preparation can make a real difference in their results. In this video, I'll show you exactly what high-scoring candidates do differently and how you can start using the same approach. You'll discover 9 essential tips that separate low-scoring candidates from high-scoring candidates. If you're tired of feeling unsure about your writing, keep watching. This might be the approach you have been looking for. Tip number 1 is to understand exactly what the CELPIP writing test requires. The writing test has 2 tasks, and they're quite different from each other. In task 1, you need to write an email. You have 27 minutes to read the question and write your response. The question describes a situation and gives you bullet points telling you exactly what to include in your email. The situation can be personal, professional, or community related. The tone you should use depends on the person you are writing to. In task 2, you need to respond to a survey question. You have 26 minutes to read a short scenario and choose one of 2 options. Then you need to explain why you prefer that option. For both tasks, you need to write 150 to 200 words. The CELPIP examiners score your writing on 4 criteria: content and coherence, vocabulary, readability, and task fulfillment. Each of these carries equal weight in your final score. Understanding what the examiners are looking for helps you focus on what actually matters. You need to develop your ideas clearly and support them with relevant details. You also need to use a variety of sentence structures. Choose your words carefully and write in the right tone for the situation. Tip number 2 is crucial. Use transitions to connect your ideas smoothly. Effective linking words help your writing flow logically and make it much easier for the examiner to follow your thoughts. For adding information, you can use words like moreover, furthermore, or additionally. For contrasting ideas, try nevertheless, however, or on the other hand. Let's compare 2 examples. The library needs more computers. Students struggle to finish assignments. There aren't enough seats either. Something needs to change. Now, check this out. I am writing to express my concern about the limited resources available at the Westside Community Library. The number of computers is no longer sufficient for the growing number of visitors, which means students often have to wait a long time before they can access one. Furthermore, the seating area has become increasingly crowded during peak hours. Therefore, I would like to suggest that the library consider expanding its facilities to better serve the community. As you can see, the second example uses the transitions furthermore and therefore. It flows much better and shows clear relationships between ideas. That's why it's so important to use linking words. Tip number 3 is essential for scoring high. You must use the appropriate level of formality throughout your response. This means choosing the right tone for your audience, organizing your information clearly, and phrasing requests or suggestions appropriately. The question will give you clues about who you're writing to. In task 1, that tells you exactly how formal your email needs to be. In task 2, you're writing a survey response, so your tone should be clear and direct, but still respectful. For formal task 1 emails, for example, to a manager or a city official, start with Dear Mr. or Miss and use complete words. Don't use contractions. Write I am writing rather than I'm writing. And with sincerely or best regards. For less formal emails, for example, to a neighbor or a friend, you might start with hi followed by their name. You can use a warmer, more personal tone, and contractions are fine here. You might close with talk soon or take care. The key is reading the question carefully to figure out the right register. Then keep that level of formality consistent from your greeting all the way to your sign-off. That consistency is what examiners look for in high-scoring responses. Now, here is something important. Many CELPIP candidates think that knowing a few writing tips is enough to get a strong result, but it's not enough. To do well in CELPIP writing, you need to understand exactly how both tasks work, what the examiners are looking for, and how to demonstrate those skills in your response. That's exactly what we teach in our CELPIP packages. Our students get step-by-step guidance on how to approach the writing test effectively, so they feel confident and ready on test day. They learn how both writing tasks are designed and what skills they need to write high-scoring responses. Our CELPIP packages include lessons for all tasks, sample answers, mock tests, templates, and much more. If you want expert guidance for your CELPIP preparation, click the link below to learn more. Now, let's continue with tip number 4. Address all bullet points and elaborate so that you support the purpose of your response. Simply mentioning each required point isn't enough for a high score. You need to develop each point with relevant details, explanations, or examples. Let's say the task asks you to write an email to your building manager about a maintenance issue in your apartment. The question might tell you to describe the problem, explain how it's affecting you, and ask for a specific action to be taken. You need to cover all 3 points. But here's the key. You need to elaborate on each one. Don't write, "The heating isn't working, it's cold, please fix it." Instead, provide more complete information like this. I am writing to let you know that the heating unit in my apartment has not been functioning properly for the past 5 days. As a result, the temperature inside has become extremely uncomfortable, particularly during the evenings. I would greatly appreciate it if a maintenance technician could be arranged to inspect and repair the unit as soon as possible. This fuller development shows that you can communicate clearly and achieve your purpose effectively. The elaboration gives the reader all the information they need, and that's exactly what high-scoring responses do. Tip number 5 is often underestimated, but it's crucial. Plan before you write. One of the scoring criteria the CELPIP examiners use is content and coherence. This means that they look at how well your ideas are organized and developed. Good planning is essential for achieving the organization required for CLB 9 or higher. It's very difficult to write a coherent, well-developed response if you just start typing without any idea of where you're going. Before you write, quickly plan what you want to write. For task 1, think about how you'll address each bullet point and what details or examples you can include. For task 2, decide which option you're going to choose. Think of 2 strong reasons to support it and note down a detail or example for each reason. You don't need to write full sentences in your plan. Just a few words for each point is enough. The goal is to have a clear direction before you start writing, so your ideas flow naturally from one paragraph to the next. Making a plan can significantly improve your content and coherence score. It also makes the writing process faster because you're not stopping mid-response to figure out what to say next. Tip number 6 is to show a variety of sentence structures in your writing. This is essential for scoring well. You need to demonstrate that you can use different sentence types accurately, not just simple sentences one after another. High-scoring responses use a mix of sentence types effectively. This includes complex sentences with subordinate clauses, conditional structures, and relative clauses. Let's compare two examples. Here's a response that uses simple structures only. I want a park in our neighborhood. It will be good for families. There are no green spaces nearby. Now, check this out. I strongly believe that building a community park in our neighborhood would be a valuable investment, particularly for families with young children who currently have no safe outdoor spaces within walking distance. I would greatly appreciate it if the city could consider allocating funding for this project, as it would significantly improve the quality of life for residents in the area. The second version uses a complex sentence with a subordinate clause, particularly for families with young children who currently have no safe outdoor spaces within walking distance. It also uses a conditional structure. I would greatly appreciate it if the city could consider. This kind of variety demonstrates advanced language use that examiners look for in high-scoring responses. Another effective way to boost your score is by using the passive voice where it fits naturally. For example, the new policy was introduced without consulting the residents. You can also use participial phrases to show complex grammar. Here is an example. Having lived in this neighborhood for over 10 years, I have a strong interest in seeing it develop positively. The key is using these structures naturally. Don't force them in awkwardly. When you have an opportunity to show your grammatical range, take it. By the way, if you want this channel to keep going, write yes in the comments, click like and subscribe. We only make videos that you actually want to watch. Let's move on to tip number 7. Paraphrase and use precise vocabulary. You need to avoid repeating the same words and replace basic expressions with more specific alternatives. Instead of using good multiple times, try words like beneficial, worthwhile, or advantageous. For the email task, replace simple phrases with more precise language. Don't just write, I have a problem. Instead, write, I have encountered an issue with, or I have experienced a complication regarding. Instead of, I need, try, I would like to request, or I require. Also, use phrases that sound natural and professional. Instead of make a plan, write develop a plan or put together a plan. Instead of talk about, write address or discuss. Let's look at an example. Here's a basic sentence. The noise was very loud and I was very annoyed. Now take a look at this more advanced version. The noise was extremely disruptive, and I found the situation quite difficult to manage, particularly during late evening hours. That said, here's an important warning. Be careful to use vocabulary you're confident about. It's better to use a simpler word correctly than to misuse an advanced one. The goal is precise, natural word choice. Let's check out tip number 8. Organize your response effectively. A well-organized response shows the CELPIP examiner that you understand how to structure written communication clearly. For task 1, your email should have a clear opening that states your purpose, a body that develops each bullet point logically, and a closing that wraps things up appropriately. Start by establishing why you're writing right away. For formal emails, use phrases like, I am writing to inform you that, or I am writing regarding. For less formal emails, you might write, I wanted to let you know that, or I'm reaching out because. In the body of your email, work through each bullet point in a logical order. Address them clearly and make sure you give enough detail for each one. Don't try to cover 2 bullet points in the same sentence. Make sure you give each bullet point its own space. Finally, end with an appropriate sign-off. For task 2, you can use a simple 4-paragraph structure. Start with an introduction where you state your preference clearly. Then write 2 body paragraphs, each one explaining a different reason for your choice with supporting details. Finish with a short conclusion that restates your position. This kind of clear organization makes your response easy to follow and shows the CELPIP examiner that you understand how English writing works. My final tip is to proofread your response carefully. This step is often overlooked, but it can make a real difference to your score. After you finish writing, take a few minutes to read through your response. Start by checking that you've addressed everything the question asked for. In task 1, that means all the bullet points. In task 2, that means you've clearly stated your preference and explained your reasons. Then check your grammar. Look out for subject-verb agreement. Make sure your verb tenses are consistent. And check that your sentences are complete. Even small errors can affect how easily your response is understood, and that directly impacts your readability score. Also check your spelling and punctuation. These details matter because they show the examiner that you take care with your writing. Finally, check your word count. Both tasks require 150 to 200 words. Writing too little suggests you haven't developed your ideas enough. Writing too much can lead to more errors and may suggest you didn't manage your time well. This brief proofreading can catch mistakes that would otherwise lower your score. That's it! Those are 9 essential tips for the CELPIP writing test. If you want expert guidance for your CELPIP preparation, check out our CELPIP packages using the link below. Our packages include step-by-step guidance, mock tests, templates, and other useful resources to help you feel confident on test day. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you're notified when the next video comes out. Also, share this video with your friends so they can improve their CELPIP score too. See you in the next video!